Okay, thank you everyone. As you may know, Sungrow is one of the biggest supplier for solar inverter. But today I'm going to introducing another business of our Sungrow group, the floating solar. Till now, the whole world have been installed floating solar for 2.5 gigawatts. From the data which is collected by series, apparently the floating PV industry appears a dramatic increase since 2016. Last year, Sungrow floating PV have achieved a great performance with a supply over 430 megawatts. Back to the story of floating solar. The concept was born in 15 years ago. For Sungrow floating PV, we have spent years of study and practice. Then we developed the modular floating solutions. PV panels were directly fixed on the aluminum brackets with the main floats. The tilt angle is adjustable in different latitudes. Years after, we find that the high coverage ratios may not be an advantage to the water resource and the power generation. Therefore, we optimize the design for our main floats to leave more space on water. With the upgrade of the PV panel, the size becomes longer and wider. The mounting with big PV panels is the key point. Also, combining with the consideration to enhance the cooling effect of the floating systems that I have mentioned before, we developed the upgrade solution, which consists of high strength steel and high buoyancy floating. There are several other advantages, such as flexible buoyancy in accordance with snow loads in different areas, and the better stability of operation and maintenance. So far, this generation has been successfully applied over 100 megawatts worldwide. As a technology-based company, Sungrow Floating PV focusing on research and development. At current, we have applied more than 100 patents worldwide. 47 patents have been authorized. Besides the contribution of floating product itself, we have addressed a lot on the anchoring systems, which is the key fact to influence the safety of the floating systems. Now we are also focusing on anchoring design and working with DNV. With years experience on the floating solar, we have applied our solution on various of conditions with different characters. Huainan 150 megawatts still remains the world's largest floating PV project. Hunan Yiyang 100 megawatts, placing in the canal from east to west is 8 kilometers. Thailand, the 12.5 megawatts project. The water level variation is more than 20 meters. Malaysia 13 megawatts project is the first project that placing on the acid water. We have conquered huge lots of difficulties to support our customers with successful commercial operate. Here's another best practice which is worthy to mention. As you may know, Singapore pay lots of attention on the water quality due to the limited water resource. The supply of 60 megawatts floating systems on 10 reservoir of drinking water have approved Sungrow's floating products are 100% environmental friendly. Our adventure have been never stopped. We need to discuss more possibilities for the floating solar. The combination with floating PV and hydropower will be the potential in the future. According to the research, the capacity of hydropower have been reaching more than 1,200 gigawatts. And right now, only 2.5 gigawatt floating solar have been accomplished. Obviously, there is huge loss of potential to making a combination of hydropower with floating PV. For example, the sharing of construction area and the transmission line can save the cost. The cover of floating solar can reduce the evaporation to save the water resource and increase the hydropower generation. The last part is the key technologies and prospects. In this part, I will introducing a few challenges and what do we do. Opportunities always coming with challenges. Hydropower and offshore carry huge potential for floating solar, but there are still three main concerns: the wave impact, the corrosion resistance, and the anchoring design. In terms of the wave, Sungrow have already started research of wave breaker. The efforts of the wave reduction is determined by the section design. After that, the flowing experiment will be conducted to verify section design for the regular wave. Then we will make a scale mode for tank test to verify the efforts of the wave reduction and the anchoring system for irregular waves. According to the current research and experiment, the transmission coefficient can be lower than 50%. It means that we can reduce the half of the wave height in some condition. As for the correction, to find the materials that is able to survive in the seawater, we have cooperated with International Material Study Institute for the experiment. We have tested several samples with different metal materials to find out the answer. With metal sample was hand and tested near the shore side, we found our sample, there's no corrosion after 16 years, which proves the best performance among the 4 samples. When we're looking on the anchoring systems, 3 main factors are the wind, wave, and flow. For the simulation of wind load, we have conducted the wind tunnel test for our real sizing products. Meanwhile, we have tested wind from different angles. It helping us to figure out the wind load on the different tails. Thus, we are able to suggest on the selection of panel tails that based on the wind tunnel factor. When it turns to the waves, it has been found that there will be damping force in the waves on the floating array from the first row. We also conducted various simulation and modes. According to the result from it, we are able to calculate the waves from force on the floating array and understand how the transmission of the force. Therefore, to figure out the wave force on each anchors and mooring lines. Furthermore, we devoted our efforts into the anchorage foundation. We figure out coefficient of friction between silt and concrete by experiment. Based on the research above, we can help to ensure the safety of anchoring systems. To be more automated and intelligent, we also developed a software for the anchoring design. As long as we type in the necessary input data, the system will run the preliminary design for the overall anchoring by itself. So that's all for my presentation about our anchoring system. And also about for all our floating systems. So if you have more questions, you're very welcome to contact us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bourne. Thank you so much.